The Graph Kids are out of grift. Time for another adventure in wild space.
How you get so big getting food of this kind?
Alright, I've really missed getting to talk about this series. We're on book 3 of Adventures in Wild Space. If you've missed my other reviews of the book, please click here and check them out. It's a phenomenal series I couldn't recommend highly enough. This review will be spoiler-free for book 3, but I'm going to spoil a lot out of what's happened in the other books. Today we're talking about The Heist, or The Steal if you're reading the UK version. This installment is penned by Cavan Scott. Here we find Lena and Milo, who are still on their own, freshly safe from bug monsters from a strange planet. They're following a radio signal of, would you believe it, rebels against the Empire. And they end up on a planet that's going to be familiar to a lot of you. Lothal. That's right, in the years before Star Wars Rebels, things on Lothal are just getting warmed up, and it does not take Lena and Milo very long before they start running into familiar faces. I don't want to say too much about the plot, but Lena and Milo end up separated from their trusty droid Crater, and they have to figure out how to get him back. And along the way, they encounter new allies, some of which are new faces for all of us, and others are familiar, albeit a little bit mysterious. So like I was saying, I really like this series. I love the Graph Kids. In my first review, I talked about how one of the strong points of the series was that it doesn't tie into a lot of other things that were Star Wars, and it makes it very accessible. But now that we're a couple books in and it's really starting to tie into the greater lore and tie into Rebels, I'm loving seeing it kind of interweave into lore that was already established and already there. It's still absolutely accessible if you've never read or seen anything else in Star Wars, if this is your kid's first introduction to the saga, but it's very rewarding if you're a fan that's watching and reading all of the material that's coming out right now. And the Graph Kids continue to grow up. We've seen them face down terrifying monsters and terrifying villains, and now here they are without their mentor droid trying to figure out a situation completely on their own. They're starting to understand that there are larger things at play here, and their creative problem solving continues to follow through. And that's the fun part of this series for me. They're solving these problems in a way that kids would absolutely solve these problems. And not in a bratty, kids know better than adults sort of way, but just in creative ways that seasoned adults wouldn't think of having to fight against. This series does a really good job of balancing childhood ingenuity without making the kids superpowered on the basis that they're the protagonists. And their creativity and their bond as siblings is really the heart of the series for me, and it really shines through. This has definitely been my favorite of the series so far. So that's my look at The Heist. Be sure to subscribe to the channel for more reviews and more breakdowns of all sorts. We cover just about anything Star Wars. Follow us at Port Haven Forums on Twitter. Visit us at port-haven.com for all sorts of internet fun. And until next time, keep it real and fly casual.
Now cooking candies are